In advance of the upcoming Jewish holidays of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, a story honoring Jewish history. And you don't have to be a historian or a professional treasure hunter to know that historical gems can come in all conditions. An old, moldy American flag is now proudly on display in Southwest Florida after people donated thousands of dollars to restore it. That act of generosity stands in stark contrast to the flag's story.
When I looked at it, it just broke my heart, and knowing where it came from and where it was sitting and what was happening to it.
Vietnam veteran Harvey Charter knew he had to find a way to salvage the handmade flag from World War II. For years, it was a point of pride at this American Legion post in Fort Myers. But when Hurricane Irma damaged the post's roof, water seeped into the flag's frame, causing mold.
That's a treasure, and it belongs in a place where it will be safe with the temperature for light and everything else, as well as being able to be shared with future generations.
Shared because of the hands that created the flag.
It was made by the inmates of the concentration camp using pieces of cloth that they had. They actually made that right under the nose of the Nazis. So they made it there and risked their lives. They would have been killed for that, for anything. And they did that.
It is truly one of a kind.
When Cody Rodemaker, the curator at the Holocaust Museum and Cohen Education Center in Naples, got the call from Harvey asking for advice, he knew the damage could be severe, but he suspected the Holocaust relic was special.
There have been a handful of flags made by the survivors of concentration camps and given to by liberators, but every single one of those is truly unique.
Prisoners from the Nazi concentration camp in Nordhausen, Germany, made it for U.S. troops who arrived on April 11, 1945.
The Germans had left. The only ones left were about 350 very sick, emaciated, scrawny, near-death prisoners of war.
The Polish-speaking prisoners presented the flag to 27-year-old First Lieutenant John Spain. John Spain Jr. says his dad cherished it.
I think what it really meant to him was, in spite of all the death that surrounded these individuals, that by using the stars, the five-pointed star was converted in their minds to a six-pointed star, which was the Star of David. And I think what that meant to him is, in spite of everything that these prisoners had been through, they were dedicated to their religion, their faith, and above all, they knew it was the Americans that would be liberating them.
Despite being injured the very next day in battle, First Lieutenant Spain kept the flag safe for more than 4 decades until he donated it to the American Legion post. As a Jewish American, Charter knew he had to have the flag restored professionally. He spent more than 2 years raising $10,000 to have it preserved.
The material was going to start to decompose. It wouldn't be here in 5 or 10 years. It would have been gone.
Months later, a crowd celebrated the unveiling of the restored flag at the Naples Holocaust Museum.
2, 3. Yeah.
I look at it, I think of John Spain Sr. I could see him in heaven looking down, because this is really where he wanted it to be. There was no Holocaust Museum when he donated it to the American Legion.
I couldn't be more proud of the fact that it's finally arrived at a permanent home where it will be viewed by generation after generation.
While John Spain Sr. died before seeing his flag showcased, he returned to Nordhausen in 1999 with his son. A place where he had experienced so much horror now honored him.
I was fortunate that my dad was able to relate to me the atrocities that he witnessed, and kind of goes with the phrase that we should be saying today in this country: let us not forget. Let us not forget what these people endured, almost 6 million lives. So my father was probably the greatest man I've ever known in my life. This is truly the right place. My dad would be absolutely thrilled. I think he's here in spirit.
And the Nordhausen flag is on permanent loan to the Naples Museum. It's on rotation with another treasure, a quilt created by the survivors of Auschwitz who gave it to the Soviet soldiers who liberated them.